Hey guys, I'm back and we are playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Today we're going to be doing a copy drop stream. We're going to be checking out a blueprint that you can earn for free, but a little time and effort is required. So let's go ahead and check out what is what and what needed to be done to get this blueprint. Now the blueprint is time sensitive, so like you do need to earn this blueprint before season 5 ends. So there is a timer on it. If you're watching the stream in the archives and we're past the season, then obviously the blueprint probably isn't available anymore as far as earnability goes. I don't know. They might bring it back. Who knows? But most likely not available. Time sensitive. So with the last several seasons, since actually the launch of the game, they've done these weekly challenges, and every week, if you complete at least 5 out of the challenges in either multiplayer, zombies, or battle royale, you can mix and match the challenges. But as long as you've completed 5 completions on any of the 3 modes, or like I said, in combination of any of the 3 mode challenges, you will earn yourself the weekly reward. And this week's weekly reward is a blueprint. So the Iron Clad blueprint for the Pulemyot 762 LMG is the reward. As mentioned, they have actually been doing a blueprint reward every season, and including in the preseason, I think, where it's been usually the last week where they've given the blueprint and had the challenges tied to the reward. But yeah, this week they've done it, I guess. I mean, this season they've done it in week 7, which is nice because usually, even though they are tied to the weekly challenge, it's only that it becomes available as the week launches. But as long as the season is still active, you can complete these challenges and get that 5 ticks towards the reward for the weekly challenge at any point in time during the season. So in this particular case, you have week 7 and week 8 to actually complete these challenges and earn the reward for the week 7 completion. So they've given you a little bit of extra time as far as this season goes for the blueprint. Obviously, next week there will be another challenge, another set of rewards. Those are different. For the week 7 completion reward, you do need to complete the week 7 challenges, at least 5 of them as mentioned. And it is very specific to the week 7 challenges. So it's not like you can complete the week 4 challenges and then the week 8 challenges and then be like, yeah, but I've completed 5. Why don't I have the week 7 reward? No, you need to complete 5 of the week 7 challenges as mentioned. Now, the nice thing about this is you just need 5 completions, as I mentioned earlier. But what is nice about it is there are 7 challenges in each category. So there are 7 in multiplayer, 7 in zombies, 7 in battle royale. And as mentioned, you can mix and match or choose your preferred mode. If you choose to just complete 5 in a single mode, that's your choice. Or if you're struggling to complete 5 in multiplayer, but you can complete like 1 or 2 here, and you're better off completing 2 or 3 in zombies and maybe just 1 in battle royale, whatever the case is, as long as the total completion out of all these challenges is 5, you will earn yourself that reward. Now, we're not going to go individually across each challenge for each mode, but this week's challenges revolve around some SMG related challenges in multiplayer, as well as like doing certain actions with weapons and all that. And the zombie challenges revolve around using various perks, specific weapons, maybe even looking like some melee challenges also, while eliminating the zombies or doing specific tasks like critical kills. And then the Battle Royale challenges revolve looking like aspects around the Urzikstan map, getting eliminations in specific areas in Urzikstan, and then placing, top 10 or completing contracts or opening loot boxes, right? So those would be the various challenges for this particular week. There was something I wanted to say about these challenges. Anyway, doesn't matter. as mentioned, complete 5 across the board and you will get yourself the reward. So let's go ahead and check out the reward and go from there. So yeah, Pulemyot 762 Iron Clad blueprint. Let's go ahead and play the preview mission and get a closer look. Yeah, I mean, looks all right. Nothing super crazy or anything. No animation. Doesn't look like. Don't think it has any tracers or anything like that. Like, this is that old brass kind of look to it, right? Where like the brass kind of gets that kind of green look to it if you're not polishing it properly. Like been sitting around for a while, not being polished, and get that look to it. It looks all right. The Pulemyot is apparently like a meta long-range weapon in Warzone currently this season. So if nothing else, it'll be nice to have in the collection if you are a Warzone player and, you know, interested in whatever the meta build weapons and builds are. I don't know if this is a particular meta build for Warzone. I don't believe it is. But at least blueprint-wise, it's nice for the collection if you're utilizing the gun, right, in that mode. Definitely a slow LMG, but should be hard hitting. Oh, I know what I wanted to say about the challenges. The one nice thing about the challenges this season is most of them, at least in multiplayer and all, haven't required the recommended weaponry. So that was a huge deal, like not requiring recommended weaponry. So you, for a lot of the challenges where it requires SMG and this, that, and the other, it's player's choice which SMG they want to use and all. There have been like 1 or 2 challenges that have required a recommended weapon, which means it needs to be the featured weapon for the week or whatever, you know, the one that's whatever, right? Which was always annoying in the previous challenges. But yeah, this season they didn't really do that, which was really nice about the weekly challenges. Sort of can just play the game, enjoy with the weapons you enjoy using, and you're very likely going to complete the challenges, right? So yeah, there are 5 solid attachments with this blueprint. Let's go ahead and see what they are and what they're doing on the weapon. The Invoker light barrel, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, movement speed, sprint speed at the cost of recoil control, firing aim stability, and aiming idle sway. I've already sort of like, I haven't looked through the build, but I know some of the attachments, and it does look like they're going heavy with movement speed with some of these attachments, which this gun does not excel in. So I think they're trying to make this gun excel in areas that it lacks heavily in and probably should not be pushed for, because it's sort of pointless going that route, because you shouldn't be using this gun in that way, right? Like the barrel being a movement speed heavy barrel, and I don't know about that, man. You don't really want to be running around with the Pulemyot. The MK3 reflector, precision sight picture. Ivanov HSS ergonomic stock, gun kick control, firing aim stability, aim walking speed, movement speed at the cost of sprint to fire speed, and hip fire and tack stand spread. The 75 round belt, aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, or reload quickness, aim walking speed at the cost of magazine ammo capacity. And the VT7 Spitfire suppressor L, undetectable by radar, recoil control, bullet velocity, and range at the cost of aim down sight speed, aim walking steadiness, and sprint to fire speed. Okay, so not full on looking like. They are compensating for it with this muzzle and whatnot. But yeah, I would still probably not bother building the Pulemyot for any movement speed, because it's just really not going to be useful that way. But regardless. This is what it looked like when you decide to change things around if you choose to. Muzzle attachments. Oh, that looks good. barrel. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you change some of these attachments, you're going to lose the visuals of the blueprint. Lasers. Always the disappointing thing about some of these blueprints in this game, like the fact that, you know, once you start editing it, you sort of lose that cool design element that you got from the blueprint. Optics. Stocks. Grips. Magazine attachments. Ammunition shouldn't change anything visually. And finally, underbarrel. So yeah, that's the blueprint the way you get it, and if you decide to change attachments around, this is the stats for the blueprint in case you're interested. Movement speeds at 4.4 m-s. This is the camo coverage. Looks like it's taking over the whole blueprint, sort of, ish. Probably, kind of. Or it is. I guess there's small bits and bobs that are bleeding through the like base camos. Mastery. Yeah, definitely looking like it's fully taking over the whole blueprint with the mastery. So, no, nothing super special about camo mixing with the blueprint. Maybe some with the, possibly you can find something with the base camos, maybe. But yeah, it looks like blueprint is the blueprint without camos is the best option if you want best of the visuals. Solid colors. Looks like a little bit more elements are visible with solid colors, but I mean, I think for the most part, probably better to, well, I guess there's options. So yeah, not ideal camo coverage, but there's something there, I guess, maybe. So yeah, let's go ahead and take the blueprint into some multiplayer action and try it out. Hopefully not too much of a struggle with this blueprint, I'm hoping. I'm just gonna play it slow. I know like the barrel allows for some movement, but it's a Pulemyot LMG. Really, I think it's just holding lines and being a little campy with it is the wise bet, regardless of some of the attachments allowing for a little bit of movement.
Taking effective fire! Team deathmatch. Engage and destroy the enemy.
I might back out of this. It is pretty far gone for TDM.
We have taken the lead. Friendly UAV online. the lead.
Moving here. This got movement.
Oops.
Friendly cluster mine planted.
Moving here.
Hostile UAV in area.
Got movement.
Dude, the gun is so boring.
Moving here.
Hostile SAE near your position. The enemy is back.
Yeah, I have to play it slow, man. I can't run around with this. Even there is no movement speed. It is slow. I have to hold this stuff. Otherwise, it's not gonna work out. I mean, that game was slow anyway, but no one was coming at me. Yeah, if I try to reposition too much, it'll get me killed. I'm almost certain. It is a very slow build. I mean, it's a slow weapon. There's no build. Like I said, there's no build that you can make this fast. I was looking into trying to make a compact build as a curse build for it, but I just really. Although there is one build, one of the builds that I've set up that might be a little bit more movement friendly, using the, what's it called? Conversion kit. But yeah, that'll be one of the last builds. Something I'm just testing out because I haven't tried out the conversion kit in this. Oh, at least I don't remember trying it. If I did, I didn't. That's why I also put claymores in the loadout, because I knew I wouldn't be able to move around. As I did, I'm just gonna need to camp no matter what. Oh fuck. Yes. It's not as hard hitting as I thought it was gonna be, man. Dude, that's a lot of shots on target that did nothing. Too. Dude, how did that not fucking kill, man? Kidding.
Secure the area. Ready to deploy. We're secured the lead. Target area updated. Move to the
Dude, man.
enemies inside the perimeter. Hostile mosquito is online. Secure the area.
Dude, how this game sometimes will just spawn them right behind you, man.
The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back. Enemies inside the perimeter. Hardpoint relocated. Reactive. Secure. Hostile cluster line active. Hostile deploy the mosquito.
Dude.
Secure the area. Confirming next hardpoint. Stand by. Friendly UAV on enemies inside the perimeter.
Dude, what is going? There's packet bursts going on. Like, there was stuttering. Hey, what's up, Hirsch? Give me a second, dude. Bro, you are irritating me. That's why I removed you. I'm not your friend, dude. I'm a streamer. I don't know which world you think, like, irritating someone, like, is gonna not... I'm just a streamer, buddy. Don't mistake your interaction with me as friendship. I don't need to block you, man. I removed you because I don't want to play with someone like you, especially after some of the things you said. And not about me, about like other things, like the country, dude. Fucking, it's okay, man. The main reason I removed you is because you were irritating. Nothing else. You're not like a family member or like an old school friend and all. And even in school friends, dude, if they were irritating me, I wouldn't want to like interact with them either. I removed you because I'm a streamer. I'm not your close buddy. Found you irritating with some of your rhetoric. Not really interested in fucking dealing with that stuff, dude. I don't gain any which way from like being your buddy. Fucking weirdos. They think simply because like they're playing with me like I'm your friend or something. I don't even know you. Should be like ashamed of yourself talking about shit that you did like publicly. It's one thing thinking it to yourself, but like the way you said shit publicly, I'd be like ashamed. And it has nothing to do about anything other than just being a fucking absolute moron. Obviously I removed you, man. I have no interest in playing with someone like you. And the fact that you think the fact that you think I lost the argument just proves why I don't want to like fucking chit chat with you, man. Jesus Christ. Actual loser. And then you wonder why.
Friendly Mosquito active. Tag secure. Kill confirmed.
Dude was like irritating me so much, I've actually got a fucking headache today. Still. Like a fucking child. Yeah, you calling India and other countries that don't have servers a shithole isn't you winning. It just makes you sound like a fucking complete moron. Like a disgrace to like humanity itself, dude. Forget India.
Friendly UAV on station.
Hey.
UAV is bingo fuel.
Been looted.
Friendly Mosquito active. Friendly UAV on station. Counter UAV disengaging. Ready to deploy. The mission's complete. Good work.
Yeah, bro, I just didn't stand for what you like say, man. Like, you have friends that think like that. That's fine, man. They want to back you with like your kind of like behavior and your attitude and stuff like that. That's fine. But I'm just a streamer. I don't know you. Based on what you were saying, I don't agree with a lot of it. Obviously, I'm not gonna like keep you on my friends list. Just some random dude that wants to play with me. Fuck, man, jeez. All right, for the Pulemyot 762, we just played with the way the build was and how you get it with Mastery Camo. Now we're gonna try out my build on the Pulemyot, and I haven't used this. I don't use this gun all that much. So I have made a little bit of adjustment with this jack glassless optic. But otherwise the rest of the attachments are what I used to use, I think. The Stovall Conqueror V-Stock. The Ivanov ST70 grip. The armor-piercing rounds. And then the Lockshot KT85 muzzle attachment. So yeah, I made a small adjustment with the optic. Definitely tempted to consider like the Quartermaster, but I'm gonna stick with the Lockshot. I'm just gonna stick with this for now. So yeah, this is the build that I used, I think, somewhat. Just gonna go ahead and jump in. Actual fucking loser he is. Literally calls like his own country a shithole publicly. This is a fucking weird kid, dude. And it's like, oh yeah, let's be buddies. No, dude, I'm a streamer, dude. I don't know you. I don't know you well enough to like be your buddy. And based on the things you were saying yesterday, don't even know if I want to be like, don't even want to know or try to know you. Actually delusional. He thinks like everyone in India can't afford anything. It's fucking a joke, dude. Legitimately the argument yesterday that he like fucking went on and on just gave me a headache. And all I could think of is like, man, how is this guy so stupid?
Team deathmatch. All operatives, you're clear to engage. Lead.
Oy.
cluster mine planted.
Oi.
Friendly cluster mine deployed. Friendly cluster mine deployed. Standing by.
Copy. UAV is on station. Recon online. UAV signal lost. It's MIA.
No way, are you kidding?
Mission complete. Finish it. Friendly Overwatch helo in the area.
Dude, how do you walk into a gunfire like that, dude? And still get away with it?
Hostile counter UAV overhead. Hostile FAE near your position.
These guys are cheating. And they still suck.
Friendly cluster mine deployed. Hostiles deployed a Mosquito. Enemy UAV active. Hostile cluster mine detected.
Dude, these guys are definitely cheating, I'm pretty sure, enemy guys. And they're still getting shit on. Must have just been these two morons. So that's my Pulemyot build. It needs updating, I think. It's not optimal, I don't believe. Can be better. And I don't even know if this Jack Blastless optic was worth it. Maybe it was, sort of. I think it might have been. But yeah, it could be more and significantly better built. Alright, for this next build, we're going to try out a guest build, and today's guest build is TrueGameData. I have no connection to TrueGameData, but I was looking for the Warzone build for the Pulemyot because I do know that, at least currently in Warzone, this has been the long-range meta for this season. I don't know if things have changed since they've like constantly updating weapons and stuff, and nerfing and buffing stuff, so it's possible this was the meta at the launch of the season and it's changed around, I don't know. But at least according to TrueGameData, this was a viable long-range meta build for Warzone, as I mentioned. We're obviously not going to play Warzone, we're going to just try it out in multiplayer and see how it is, just for fun. Just to try it out. Usually TrueGameData's builds have been like, kind of like, even though meant for Warzone, have been viably good in multiplayer. So definitely keen on trying it out. Jack Blastless optic, the Ivanov Woodstock, the ST Pyro heavy barrel, Quartermaster suppressor, and the Bruin heavy support grip. So he has built this very heavy, so definitely don't try to run around with this one. But keen on seeing how it plays regardless. And I'll link TrueGameData's channel in the description in case you guys are interested in checking him out. As I mentioned, I don't have any connection to him whatsoever. Just useful content creator when you're looking for like the good builds, the meta for Warzone action. He does all the testing and all that stuff and breaking down and figuring out what works and what is the best options for whenever there's adjustments made. Again, this is going to be a really slow build, so I can't really move around much. In multiplayer, I feel like that'll be detrimental. But we will do what we can do.
Kill confirmed. Kill them and secure the gang. Taking the lead. We've lost the lead. Enemy UAV active. The enemy's taking the lead. Tag secure. Kill confirmed. We've lost the lead. We have taken the lead. Friendly mosquito deployed. The enemy is
I want to get to position, but it is laser-like, but
We've
it's
secured
getting hard to move to position when I need to.
We've lost the lead. Kill confirmed. Mosquito active.
Crap.
Hostile UAV in the area. We're falling
movement.
behind. Get moving.
What on earth is this, man?
UAV on station.
I thought I got the kill because of the number pop.
Friendly mosquito active. Friendly UAV online. Friendly UAV on station.
Got you covered.
Oi.
Hostile cluster mine active. Enemy UAV active. We're losing ground.
Got you covered. Mission compromised. We've failed.
It's a good build, as always. Slow, very slow. But I think if you're a long range meta kind of build, I can understand why it is slow. So yeah, TrueGameData's build, like I said, link his channel in the description. I have no connection to him whatsoever. Do not know him, but yeah, find his content very useful. So, and would recommend. Alright, for this last build, I wanted to sort of try out this Jack Annihilator Bullpup kit. So I thought, let's go ahead and try it out. This is a bit of a combination of exclusive aces built for the Bullpup. So he recommended the rear grip, the Knots Z3 grip, and the SL Skeletal Vertical grip. So I thought, go ahead with that. And I've gone ahead and thrown on the Jack Glasses optic and the Quartermaster suppressor as my own choice. So not full on exclusive aces build, but close and, you know, slightly adjusted. So I'm just gonna dub it the Annihilator Bullpup build, or the Jack Annihilator Bullpup build. But yeah, definitely inspiration from exclusive aces original build for it. This should be more maneuverable, but I don't know how much more. So I don't know if I want to be running around with it or this game's sort of over. Let's find a full game. I want something where I can move around, but not like, well, it's like wide open. I don't know. I'm just looking for a decent map that I can try this like build on. I don't think either estate or terminal plays to the strengths. I mean, I don't know how this build will actually play out, like if it's any good, but I am at least keen on seeing something that maybe can make it a little bit potentially viable. I'm curious. I didn't even look at what the cons were for. This is a match in progress again. I just don't want to have to back out halfway through because the game's already done. Mobility, handling, fire rate, hip fire and tac transference, aim down sights at the cost of range, velocity, and weapon swap speed. That looks like crazy good cons for an LMG, dude. I mean, crazy good pros for the LMG. Velocity is a little slower, rate of fire. Alright, enough. Let's just try it out. I don't think this map is, or well, maybe sub-base.
Hostile UAV in the area. The enemy took Charlie. Hostile cluster mine detected. The enemy holds two objectives. Secure those positions. We're taking Bravo. Hostile care package incoming.
Moving here.
Securing objective Bravo. Hostile mortar strike near your position. Securing objective Hold all objectives. Do not enemy securing Bravo. Objective Bravo is compromised. Get it back. We're taking Alpha. Objective Alpha is compromised. Get it back. Hostile counter UAV overhead. Enemy securing Charlie. We're taking Bravo. Securing objective Alpha. The enemy has captured Georgia. System secure. Alpha secure. Friendly UAV online. We're losing Charlie. Objective Charlie is compromised. Get it back. Friendly UAV on station. We're taking Charlie. Objective Charlie secure. Enemy is taking Alpha.
Enemy in the area.
Objective Alpha is compromised. Get it back. Enemy is gaining ground.
You can move around with it, but you're still slow. I'm like still not like super comfortable.
Moving here.
We're taking Alpha. Enemy is securing Charlie. Enemy holds two objectives. Secure those positions. The enemy took Charlie. Friendly mortar deployed. Enemies deploy the counter UAV. Securing objective Bravo. We're taking Bravo. Securing Charlie. We're losing Alpha. Charlie secure. Objective Alpha is compromised. Get it back. Hostile IMAN active. Hostile deployment. Securing objective Alpha. Losing Charlie. The enemy holds two objectives. We're taking Alpha. We control Alpha. Objective Charlie is compromised. Get it back. The enemy has captured two objectives. We're getting hit hard. Friendly cluster mine planted. Hostile mosquito is online. Charlie. We're losing Alpha. Friendly UAV online. Enemy is taking Alpha. The enemy holds all objectives. Do not fail here. Mission failed. Return to base.
It's maneuverable, but not. It's still like heavy and slow. Yeah, this is the Bullpup build. Like I said, combination of exclusive aces and some adjusted attachments to like update it for the kind of recent meta attachments, right? It is maneuverable and stuff, but I mean, it was hard hitting-ish. It wasn't bad. I still think like for how slow it is, you're not gonna want to like move around as much as I was trying to, or was forced to more than anything else. I think you still want to camp a little bit, and then maybe, you know, allow, because of the movement, it does allow for like relocating when need be, right? But I mean, honestly, the Bullpup build for this, it just removes the entire blueprint too. So not really like worthy for the blueprint, but Pulemyot 762 Iron Clad blueprint. It is season 5's week 7 weekly challenge reward. And it's an LMG, and it's one of the slowest LMGs in the game. I do agree with the fact that like, at least feel like I've not been like super motivated to be like sprinting around the maps and all anymore. So as far as the LMGs go, like I actually don't mind it. Like it's fine, but it is extremely slow, and you are definitely going to be locked into place once you get to wherever you get to. Build-wise, I wasn't feeling it. I do think adjustments should be made a little bit. Like I don't like particularly the barrel on this one. Like I don't know, man. Like, I guess maybe the recoil and all was making it feel like it was a slightly longer time to kill than some of the other builds. Maybe that's what was causing it. But yeah, it just felt like the time to kill wasn't ideal for what the barrel was giving you. So you might as well not bother with it. 75 round mag I actually didn't mind. I actually thought the 75 round mag was alright, is good enough. 100 rounds was better, but 75 rounds is alright, worked out. So I guess this was not as bad. Stock seems okay. I mean, honestly, just generally, the build was like okay. I didn't hate it, but certainly didn't love it. Visually, I actually kind of like it visually. I know like there's a few other people that might not have been the biggest fan of the gun visually or like thing, but I like, you know, the kind of sometimes mimicking like brass and like this old school feel, like where it's not been polished and all. I like this kind of stuff about some of the design elements when it comes to blueprints and all. So I actually don't mind it, and I like the fact that it's a freebie, you know, weekly challenge reward. So yeah, it's okay, it works out. I also just generally like the fact that they did this season week 7. Like I feel like when they do it week 8, it gets a little like end heavy, and like, you know, as it is, you want to like kind of complete everything and earn the reward to complete the weeklies for the weekly completion, right? The universal camo that they give. So I like having now potentially having a little extra time to like, you know, you're not forced into like jumping immediately on the end week if you want the blueprint, right? So you have that 2-week span to get the blueprint, and then next week there'll be whatever it is, right? We'll give you a little bit of time to unlock the other stuff and get your universal camo also. Spreads out the like free content as far as cosmetic stuff goes, is what I mean, right? Like having the cosmetic blueprint 1 week and then the final reward universal camo the next week. I prefer that a little bit, right? I do sort of wish there was an extra week, like in the preseason or something like that. They did an extra week for the final challenge also. So you had all the weekly challenges, and then the final week was no challenge. You just had that extra time to complete all the previous weeks. So you still had like 2 weeks to kind of get everything completed and earn yourself the universal camo. After that, they sort of like, you know, like once you get to the 8th week, you've only got 1 week left. And if you want that universal camo, you need to kind of rush through that final week and stuff like that. I did like the fact that they had that extra week in the preseason for that aspect of it. But at least for the blueprint, you got that extra week now, you know, where you're not in a rush this week. If you kind of overplayed the beta and you're planning on overplaying the beta this coming week, you're not like forced into jumping to Modern Warfare 3 this week to get this blueprint. You still have next week to, you know, still earn it and all that. And then also like the big thing, I mentioned this kind of like while we were previewing, at the end of like previewing the blueprint at first, but I had kind of spaced it. But the one really nice thing about the weekly challenges this season is the bulk of the weekly challenges don't have the recommended weapon aspect to the challenges. It's use whatever needs to be used. In this case, you know, there was some SMG assault rifle action that needed to be used. It's any SMG, any assault rifle of your choice. I always, like the previous seasons, they had the recommended weapon. And what was the recommended weapon was you'd have to go in and then go to the, like, you know, army or whatever. And then the things with the flames, these are the recommended weapons, right? And for like SMGs, these would be the recommended weapons, right? So it kind of limited your play to very specific weapons. And sometimes it wasn't like always the best weapons or the like ones that you'd want to use. So I'm definitely glad with Season 5 they removed that aspect of recommended weapons for the bulk of all the challenges. That was a huge deal. Like that was my major complaint last season. I was like, please just remove that, man. It's getting properly annoying. So, one last thing I want to address. Yesterday, and to a little bit bleeded it into today's stream, I was streaming and a viewer had an opinion, and I didn't agree with his opinion, and it led to like an absurd argument, like legitimately in my opinion. It just like some of the like counters were going nowhere where the original argument was meant to go, or the original like discussion was meant to go, and it drove me insane. Like I was just irritated to no end by the end of the argument, or discussion, or debate, however you want to put it. It wasn't really an argument. I think there was definitely, he had his points, I had my points, but like I said, there was things that just did not make sense. Now, the reason I'm addressing this is because I don't agree with, I still don't agree with what he had to say. One of the viewers, I'm going to sum it up, and this is not doing his argument justice, but this was some of the gist of his argument, was Indians are cheap, we don't pay for things, and mind you, I think he's an Indian too, so like this wasn't like a racist thing. This is just like his opinion on our own culture, I guess, right? But like his perspective, I guess. And he's like, we don't pay for anything. And that's why companies like Activision and all refuse to bring servers to India, right? Like arguments like most Indians can't afford computers, which I agree. There's a lot of people in India that cannot afford computers. A lot of them. So that's not untrue, right? I'll get to my side of it though. His other argument that was part of it was like there are services like streaming services or like digital services, right? That are like $1 for the service, and Indians are too cheap to pay for that. They won't even bother paying for that. That's not true, in my opinion. Okay? I know plenty of Indians earning Indian wages that are paying for services. They're not earning American wages. They're not rich. They're working day in, day out. They're struggling like every other Indian in middle class India, and they are still able to like afford services. Okay? Like a lot of them. And then his final argument was, this was his final statement, and this is another thing that just rubbed me the wrong way. His argument was like, no, this is the reason, like, I guess Activision doesn't have servers in some of these countries is because they're shitholes. Obviously directing the comment about India being a shithole, I guess, in his opinion, but also encompassing every other country that Activision or gaming companies, for whatever his like mindset was, treats like, oh, these countries are shitholes, so we're not going to put a server here. That's his mindset. Now, don't get me wrong. I have often thought India has massive problems, and I have also used those terminologies in private when I'm frustrated about something that's going on in India, or if something is not working the way it's meant to work, like that happens, in my opinion, in other countries more efficiently. And I have that similar kind of mindset, like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this country? I've had it. But I usually keep it private, or to people I know personally, like my family members I'll discuss this kind of stuff with. I don't go discussing that kind of, or saying that kind of stuff about other countries or India super openly to random strangers and stuff like that. And I definitely think that's completely inappropriate, regardless of whether you believe that or not. Okay? Now, I'm going to give my opinion on this matter after thinking about it a little bit. Okay? And I really shouldn't have to give this opinion because this is just basic economics and way things work. Okay? There are plenty of companies that have come to countries like India, and I'm going to use India as the example because this is what I know, but this applies to the entire world. Okay? This is not just India, okay, I'm trying to like defend India. No, applies to the entire world, but I'm using India as the example. Okay? Netflix, Amazon, Amazon's service, Amazon Prime, Uber, okay? Services that are successful in India, that Indians are paying for. And this is not all of them. There are so many more services, okay? You have products, high-end products that are successfully profitable in India. Maybe not selling as much as other countries, but it is obviously profitable enough to bring to India. Apple. High-end, they overcharge everything in India. You're paying those taxes to bring Apple products into India. Still, there's a market for it in India. I know. Guess what? Most Indians, in fact, I'd wager like a very large population of Indians cannot afford Apple products because it's so pricey. But guess what? The company exists in India. It's selling in India. Why do you think that is? That's because there is a demand for it, and there is a market that is a viably profitable market in India, even at the higher costs than other countries like the US. And yes, iPhones and iPads do get hit with massive taxes, so they are more expensive, unlike some of the other stuff in India. Okay? Now, just also bringing back a little bit to the argument yesterday, his argument was also like everything gets hit by like this tax, right? So everything is more expensive, like computers and all. That's not completely true. I was looking it up. The higher end graphic cards and all, like the stuff that are most sought after and all, they do get hit with massive taxes and are very expensive in India. The medium ranges and stuff and the like slightly older models, not completely old ones, not completely defunct models, but like the medium upper range stuff that's not in massive demand and are well stocked and have been properly brought to India, those prices are comparable to the American prices. And when there's discounts and all that, we get discounts on those products too. So yeah, they do sometimes sell it cheaper, and sometimes in the US you can get it cheaper. Obviously, things that are in high demand across the globe and needs to be imported to India, those things get hit with massive taxes and are way overpriced. So it does make more sense to buy stuff like that outside India. Regardless of that fact, there are still these expensive items, like I said, the Apple products, that have a market in India that are being sold profitably to customers. And clearly a viable market, because we don't only have one Apple store in the entire country, we have Apple stores across each state, all over the place, along with service centers and everything. Okay? So we have a market for services, we have a market for high-end goods, we have a market for low-end goods. Okay? We have a market, now here's another example. For the longest time, McDonald's, KFC, all these like fast food restaurants have come to India. And guess what? They're not failing businesses in India. Okay? They've been very successful. There's a lot of McDonald's all over the country. A lot of Pizza Huts, lots of KFCs. Popeyes has just opened up, this, that, and the other. There is a market for this stuff. Okay? The problem isn't the customer. The problem isn't India is cheapos, that's why we don't bring these things to Indians. If a company comes to India and it does poorly, or if something comes to India and it does poorly, and it's not profitable, it's not the Indian's fault or the country's fault that you did poorly in this country. It's often your fault as a company, as a product. Okay? Okay? Either your product doesn't resonate with the Indians or you've overpriced it to the point where like it's not valuable enough to Indians. And that's why these things fail in India. Okay? If there's a software or a service that Indians aren't paying for, it's because we don't see the value in it. Okay? There are things, there are softwares, there are services Indians see value in and they're paying for it. Plenty to make it profitable. Even though like there's a very large population that might not be able to afford that stuff, the ones that can afford it and the ones that see value in it, and depending on other factors, there is a lot of money to be made in countries like India and elsewhere. Again, I'm using India as the example, but this is the same factual thing for every single other country, whether developed or developing. I'm going to take some examples here and explain to you how companies, successful companies, have done things in India and been successful. Let's take McDonald's, for example. It came to India. It doesn't sell you the quarter pounder. It doesn't have beef items in there. There are veg items, there are chicken items. It's not the same McDonald's as the US. But they knew to fit into India, they needed to adjust things for the market. And by adjusting those things, yeah, you're not getting those quarter pounders. You're not getting that US American experience. What's up, Slayer? But that's how a company comes to India. They need to adjust things to fit to the culture and to see profitability. Okay? There are sometimes adjustments, and this applies to every country. You have restrictions and things you need to adjust to be successful in those regions. Netflix or Amazon Prime or Xbox Live. The prices are different in India. It's reduced. You don't get all the benefits of Xbox Gold, or I presume there's a different catalog for Netflix India or Prime customers in India. That's why there's regions for each of these services across the globe. But there's also a price difference to make it a little bit more viable for the Indian market. We're still paying for it. We're still paying a decent amount for it. But they've adjusted their pricing so they can fit into the country and be more financially viable for the customers, which in the end is still making them massive profits. At least some of them. Right? Otherwise, Netflix would have gone under a long time ago in India. Why would they continue if they weren't making money here? They're not doing us any charities by bringing it here. No, it's because it is financially viable. They might be selling the service a little bit cheaper to Indians, so it's more affordable to everyone. But there's a smaller catalog, possibly. I don't know what the differences are. We don't have everything that the American Netflix has. I don't know. But guess what? They made the adjustments and now are financially profitable in India, I'm pretty sure. Or at least financially viable in India. These are the things that companies need to do. Okay? If you come to India as a company and you refuse to make the required adjustments, you're like, no, I'm going to sell everything maximum price, maybe more so, because I have import fees to cover. You might succeed, like Apple did, if you have a product that's so high in demand that even Indians are willing to overlook the fact that they're getting ripped off for that item. Or you might not. Like a lot of other companies might have tried to do and failed. And it's not because Indians are cheapos, because there's plenty of Indians making Apple profitable when they're doing that same stunt. It's just that your product wasn't viable in our country. We didn't see value in your product. And that applies the same to the rest of the globe. This is just basic economics. Basic economics. Now, getting the roundabout topic, the original discussion wasn't about economics or viability or how cheap Indians are or why this and that. The question mark was, why can't Activision just bring a server to India when it would be a viable option financially? And I would wager probably profitability. One of the things I mentioned about this was there are games like CSGO, Counter-Strike Go, Valorant, and even X-Defiant, we'll talk about all three, that have servers in India. Now, viewers' opinion yesterday was, no, CSGO and Valorant are so low-end games, you can play it on any PC, that's why it's viable. That might be true, that those games are viable on any, like, it's more accessible to a larger crew in India because it has lower specs. But that doesn't explain the fact that these companies saw financial viability in the Indian public. And I'm sure the reason these servers are still active is because it's either financially stable or slightly profitable. Unlikely it's seeing them take massive losses. Unlikely, it's possible sometimes. In X-Defiant's case, they have servers in India, but it's probably taking some losses. But guess what? In X-Defiant's case, it's not because Indians are cheap or like don't have access to the things that need to play that game. It's because the game has messed up across the globe and everyone is talking about how like there's not a big player base and there's not reasons to jump in and not things to buy. It's not just the Indians who are saying, no, we don't want to buy this. We're not the only country talking about X-Defiant saying we don't want to spend on the microtransactions on this game. Everyone is saying that. And that's why X-Defiant is struggling. It's not because it had servers in India and Indians are cheapos. Okay? Or like don't pay for anything. As I mentioned, CSGO, Valorant have had servers and have servers in India. I would wager, not guarantee, I would need to know, like I need to dig deeper, but I would wager there are probably financial benefits to having a server in India that Valorant and CSGO have seen, more so than just a larger player base. Like I would wager there probably are some microtransactions and stuff that are being purchased by people playing on those that server, Indian server, that has made some viability to having and maintaining those servers. It's not just like, oh yeah, Indians can download CSGO, so obviously they have a server in India. No, it's probably the people who are downloading the game and playing the game in India, enjoying themselves. And enough of them are probably spending money on the game. Same with Valorant. Enough money is being spent from the people playing on that server that has made it financially viable. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there, or it would have shut down by now. This is my argument. And this fool actually came into my stream today and is telling me I lost the argument because his opinion, like he threw a little fit, called India and other countries that don't have servers a shithole, and the Indians broke. And mind you, again, I don't even believe this guy is, according to him, he's an Indian. So this is not even some racist comment. This is some self-hating, self-deprecating behavior that has nothing to do with like anything about patriotism for this country, that. No. These are just simple economic and financial facts that plenty of companies have come to India and saw financial viability and profitability that has made it worth their while. From high end to low end, from this industry to that industry. The last closing point I have about COD, at least pushing for not only servers in India but other countries, but also bettering their servers, the ones they have, and improving them and just updating them, which, mind you, is a topic everyone who plays COD has talked about. All content creators have that same like hope and dream. Please update the server so they're better. But also everyone around the globe is saying, please add more servers also. I have an opinion. When there's a product being pushed on people, okay, like a full-priced Call of Duty game, okay, or anything, clothing, this, that, the other, and you're expecting those people and that country to pay full price, maybe more so, for that product, okay? At some point in time, once it becomes possible and there's a even moderate size audience, it is also kind of partially the corporate's responsibility to provide a viable local service to the community that is spending money on that stuff. So in games like COD, who have been selling full price to India for a long time and probably has a decent enough audience to make at least one, if not two servers in this region viably profitable, it is somewhat on them, responsibility-wise and just generally, to do something and better that system for the customers that they're selling full price to, trying to sell those microtransactions to. And this, again, applies to across the globe. Now, obviously, corporate companies, they don't think like that. This is just more the last point is more of an idealistic concept that I have. Like, if you're selling to a country and all, maybe consider providing good services to them, or full services, or like in gaming things, consider a server when there's a large enough crowd. Consider if you're not doing all those things, then maybe don't charge those customers full price when you're giving them a shoddy service, like the service or the product is not fully functional in those areas, or like at max proficiency, right? Like, you're selling a game to countries where it's a live service game, it's online based, yet the servers they're connecting to are all going to be 100 ping or something like that. Maybe you should consider selling your game cheaper to them, because you're not providing them the experience that really they deserve for paying full price for your game, and you have no plan on providing that service to them. Don't charge them so much for XYZ microtransactions, because they can't enjoy those microtransactions to the fullest extent, considering they're playing on 150 ping and those whenever they're trying to enjoy those things. Obviously, corporate doesn't think like that. That's an idealistic thought. But that is the thought. And mind you, this is not like an absurd thought. There's a very clear and common practice by a lot of them. As I mentioned, Netflix, Xbox Live Service, the Game Pass and all that. They have reduced prices in regions that they can't provide the full service to, the full suite of services. That's why we pay less for Netflix. That's why we pay less for Xbox Game Pass in India. A little bit less. It's because they know they can't provide the full service to us, but they're still trying to sell to us. Again, final summation of this nonsense isn't the fact that when you fail, okay, don't blame the customers, man. Like, I'm going to just throw this example out there because I was shocked when I heard this happened. Okay? Concord. the stellar example of failure in the gaming industry at the moment, right? When they had the beta, someone posted some criticism about the game, and I believe it was, I don't know, I haven't read it, I don't know. It could have been toxic, but from what I understand, it was actually constructive criticism that was politely directed at the, like, like saying, yo, you need to fix this, but in a polite and constructive way. And the developers replied calling the guy trash and saying they don't want trash like him playing the game. The developers enjoying playing the game, and they're good with that. Okay, so they didn't want to listen to the audience, right? The customers. And guess what? When they released the game, enough of the customers did not care about that game enough. And that had nothing to do with the customers being cheap or customers being trash gamers or unskilled players. Is because they were providing a service for a price and all sorts of XYZ factors that did not appeal to the audience. To the point where it has failed in less than 2 weeks. This occurs across the globe, everywhere. Putting and pinning your frustration on Indians like that viewer had. Again, I don't think he was racist. I think he's Indian. Or anyone else, or any other culture. No. You made a mistake as a corporate by doing something that did not resonate, and that's why your product did not sell. And that's why it failed in these XYZ regions or across the globe or wherever. When you have something that's of value and people want and are excited for, they will pay for it. And there'll be enough of them that pay for it that make it profitable. Anyway, that was the gist of the argument. But yeah, I have no interest in playing with or like being buddy-buddy with that viewer. Whether like it was just a heated argument or not, dude, no, man. You just like harassed me while I was fucking trying to play the game, irritated me with stupid other like side quest comments, and you don't understand basics. And I don't blame you because I know there's a lot of people that don't, and a lot of corporates that don't. Activision not having servers in India and all, it's just because they like, I don't even know. That's what, we don't understand that. Because it would be profitable. It wouldn't cost them as much as you think it does. Or if it does, I don't even know, man. Who cares? Who cares? Activision has its own problems, in my opinion. If it's not selling like microtransactions well to Indians, my bet is it's because we don't see value in your shitty microtransactions. So there's probably more of us that see your garbage as trash than other countries. It's not because we're too cheap to buy that shit. If your microtransactions were of value to us, we would have bought it. And there have been. I have bought. And there have been Cold War, all sorts of games where I've spent money on it. So I know that's not true. And I know for a fact Indians are not the only one that think the Call of Duty microtransactions are egregious and trash or have like flaws in it that make us not want to spend on it. I know that. Appeal to the larger audience. Give them what they want. They will spend. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out my other streams if you haven't already, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Yeah. Blueprint, like, okay, there's a lot of good that this game does. Freebies, events,